Reading from the Science of Psychic Healing, auto treatment. This treatment may be administered to oneself with the best possible effect. The central mind will give the command to the cell mind or part mind, just as in the case of treating another person. The methods used are practically the same as those above given. In fact, one may get a good idea of the treatments by trying them on himself. It would be possible to write an entire book upon this subject of auto healing by thought force, but it would be merely a padding out. It would be merely a padding out of what has been given you in this chapter. Our idea in this book is to give you the best information in the shortest time and the smallest space. Each chapter gives you information that is worth many times the price of the book, for which some who have acquired a knowledge of it are charging tuition fees, ranging from $5 upward. Many courses on the market contain no more information than is given in some of these chapters. We say this not in a spirit of self-praise, but merely that you may understand that you are getting the thing in a nutshell. Chapter 12, Suggestive Healing. Suggestive healing is based upon the effect of the mental influence upon the instinctive mind. It holds that just as the adverse suggestion of another or of oneself may produce abnormal conditions of the body through the instinctive mind, so may the good suggestions of another or oneself restore normal conditions. The effect of the mental states upon the body is well known to those who have examined into the matter, as well among physical scientists as among occultists. We cite or quote a few instances here in order to call your attention to the facts underlying suggestive healing. Professor James, the eminent psychologist, has said, the fact is that there is no sort of consciousness whatever, be it sensation, feeling, or idea, which does not directly or and of itself tend to discharge into some motor effect. The motor effect need not always be an outer stroke of behavior. It may be only an altercation of the heartbeats or breathing, or a modification of the distribution of the blood, such as blushing or turning pale or whatnot. But in any case, it is there in some shape when any consciousness is there. And a belief as fundamental as any in modern psychology is the belief at last attained, the conscious process of any sort, conscious processes. I'm just letting Domenica in. Morning. Oh, she's still okay. Good morning, Domenica.
Hi, Cam. Nice to see you.
Good to see you. I saw Domenica on Sunday at yoga, so it was so nice.
It was nice.
It's so nice to have you.
I feel like I forgot that was like only the second time I saw her in person, and I was like, oh wait, I know you forever.
I know.
So I started reading. I'm just gonna continue. We're
Sure.
reading. We just started I can restart the chapter.
That's
Chapter
okay.
12, Suggestive Healing. Suggestive healing is based upon the effect of mental influence upon the instinctive mind. It holds that just as the adverse suggestion of another or of oneself may produce abnormal conditions of the body through the instinctive mind, so may the good suggestion of another or oneself restore normal conditions. To the effect of the mental states upon the body is well known to those who have examined into the matter, as well as among scientists as among occultists. We cite or quote a few instances here in order to call your attention to the facts underlying suggestive healing. Professor James, the eminent psychologist, has said, the fact is that there is no sort of consciousness whatever, be it sensation, feeling, or idea, which does not directly or and of itself tend to discharge into some motor effect. The motor effect need not always be an outer stroke of behavior. It may be only an altercation of the heartbeats or breathing, or a modification in the distribution of the blood, such as blushing or turning pale or whatnot. But in any case, here it is. But in any case, it is there in some shape when any consciousness is there. And a belief as fundamental as any in modern psychology is the belief at last attained that conscious process of any sort, conscious processes merely as such, must pass over emotion, open or concealed. Bain says, there have occurred many instances of death or mental derangement from a shock of grief, pain, or a calamity. This is in accordance with the general law. Darwin says, in protracted grief, the circulation becomes languid, the face pale, the muscles flaccid, the eyelids droop, the head hangs on the contracted chest, the lips, cheeks, and lower jaw all sink downward from their own weight. The whole expression of a man in good spirits is exactly opposite of one suffering from sorrow. Alston says, if the general law of the body be that of cheer, hope, love, joy, and desire for health and happiness, give growth to tissue, strong and normal action to the organs of the body, and thereby health in general, while fear, melancholy, malice, hatred, dejection, loss of confidence, and all other morbid states of mind tend to the lassitude of the functions and the depletion of the organs, I feel that too much enthusiasm cannot be raised in the reader's mind upon all these important facts. Flammarion says, an idea, an impression, a mental commotion, while entirely internal, can produce another direction, physiological effects, can produce in another direction, physiological effects more or less intense, and is even capable of causing death. Examples are not wanting of persons dying suddenly in consequence of emotion. The power which imagination is capable of exercising over life has long been established. The experiment performed in the last century of a man condemned to death, who was made the subject of a study by medical men, is well known. The subject of the experiment was fastened securely to a table with strong straps. His eyes were bandaged, and he was then told that he was to be bled from the neck until every drop of his blood had been drained. After this insignificant puncture was made in his skin with the point of a needle and a siphon arranged near his head in such a manner as to allow a stream of water to flow over his neck and fall with the slight sound to a basin placed on the floor. At the end of 6 minutes, the condemned man, believing that he had lost at least 7 or 8 quarts of blood, died in terror. Maudsley said, emotion may undoubtedly favor, hinder, or pervert nutrition and increase, lessen, or alter a secretion in doing which there is a reason to think that it acts, not only by dilating or contracting the vessels through the vasomotor system, as we witnessed in the blush of shame and the pallor of fear, but also directly on the organic elements of the parts through the nerves, which, as the latest researchers seem to show, and in them sometimes by continuity of substance. To me, it seems not unreasonable to suppose that the mind may stamp its tone, if not its very features, on the individual elements of the body, inspiring them with hope and energy, or inflicting them with despair and feebleness. Darwin has told of the effect of grief upon the physical functioning, particularly upon the circulation. Homesickness is mentioned as apt to derange the proper functioning of the body. Good news will promote digestion. Bad news will retard it. A disgusting sight will cause nausea. Sir Samuel Baker says, any severe grief or anger is almost certain to be succeeded by fever in certain parts of Africa. Sir B.W. Richardson says, diabetes from sudden mental shock is a true, pure type of a physical malady of mental origin. Sir George Haggett says, in many cases, I have seen reasons for believing that cancer has its origin in prolonged anxiety. Merkitson says, I have been surprised how often patients with primary cancer of the liver have traced the cause of the illness to protracted grief or anxiety. The cases have been far too numerous to be accounted for as mere coincidences. Numerous medical authorities report that cases of cancer, especially of uterine cancer or cancer of the breast, have their origin in mental anxiety. And other report cases of jaundice arising from the same cause. Other attribute anemia to mental shock and worry. Sir B.W. Richardson says eruptions on the skin will follow excessive mental strain. And all of these, and in cancer, epilepsy, and mania, from mental causes, there is a predisposition. It is remarkable how little the question of physical disease from mental influences has been studied. Professor Elmer Gates says, my experiments show that irascible, malevolent, and depressing emotions generate in the system injurious compounds, some of which are extremely poisonous. Also that agreeable, happy emotions generate chemical compounds of nutritious value, which stimulate the cells to manufacture energy. Professor Tuke, in his book, The Influence of the Mind Upon the Body, cites numerous cases of disease caused by fear, worry, or fright. The principal ones being as follows: insanity, idiocy, paralysis of the various muscles and organs, profuse perspiration, chlorine, jaundice, turning the hair gray, baldness, decay of the teeth, nervous shock followed by fatal anemia, uterine trouble, skin diseases, erysipelas, eczema, etc. The same authority remarks upon the effect of fear in the spread of diseases, particularly contagious diseases. Cholera epidemics are believed to have been largely due to the fear of the people in former times. Professor Masso claims that fear causes St. Vitus dance, scurvy, epilepsy, etc. Many writers have gone so far as to claim that fear, in some form or degree, was at the bottom of all physical complaints or diseases. Directly or indirectly, in making allowance for overclaim, it looks as if there were much truth in the statement. In view of the preceding, it would appear that any method of reliving or driving away fear would have a great effect in the curing of disease. And such is the case. Nearly all forms of psychic healing create a new mental atmosphere and condition in the patient. Fear is replaced by confidence, courage, fearlessness, hope, and the physical results follow. The axiom of suggestive therapeutics is thought takes form in action. And as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. I think that's so funny. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. But not only may the entire system be benefited by general suggestion, but particular organs may be strengthened and caused to again function properly by well-directed suggestions. The instinctive mind takes up the suggestions passed on to it, and they take form in action. The very cells of the body respond to suggestion through the instinctive mind, and every part, organ, nerve, and cell may be strengthened and stimulated into proper action in this way. The practice of suggestive therapeutics has proven quite popular among physicians of late years and is destined under one form or another to rapidly increase in popular favor in the future. Many physicians give what are called mass suggestions, by which is meant suggestions given in connection with some material remedy, the patient being told positively that the drug or treatment will do thus and so, and the suggestion being repeated in different forms until the mind of the patient confidently expects the stated results and the thought takes form in action. No matter how the suggestion is given, it is still a suggestion. In the succeeding chapters, we shall give special directions regarding this form of treatment, which will give one a better working knowledge than a book full of mere general remarks. Study them carefully. I'm gonna pause here today.
What book is this we're reading?
This is the Science of Psychic Healing. It's
Okay.
also by Rama Charaka, who wrote the 14 Lessons and the Science of Breath.
It's a breath. Okay. Cool. I like it.
Are you at your office?
I am. I'm in our Midtown office. I'm the only one.
You're in nice and early. Are you going in early every day like this?
No, this is just I do this once a week.
Okay. Nice. All right. I never really thought of like the suggestive healing as it being suggestive healing. Like, oh, go lay down, you'll feel better. You know, like when you're a kid, it's like, just go lay down, you'll feel better. And then you go lay down and you do feel better. But like, it's like planting that seed of like, that suggestion of, oh, you'll feel better. Or here,
Yeah.
take this pill and you'll feel better. It's like, is the pill really doing what it's supposed to be doing? Or are you making yourself feel better because you're like, oh, I'm just going to take my medicine every day. I just took 2 vitamin C pills. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to be so healthy. And like a total mental.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think a lot of times it's all mental. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, like, I can see how they say like, oh, fear, grief, and anxiety are the underlying cause of cancer. And maybe this is true and maybe it's not. But like, I feel like the majority of people that have cancer probably have anxiety because of the cancer, but also like, who doesn't have anxiety? Everybody has anxiety.
Yeah, it's true.
I feel like in this world, everyone's carrying anxiety. I mean, we just manage. I wouldn't say my anxiety is not too high. Like, I feel like I have a relatively low, but like a lot of my friends are high anxiety.
The only reason my anxiety is low is from all the yoga training.
Me
and the
too.
meditation.
Like, I can't remember before my yoga training. I don't know if I had like anxiety issues. Maybe I didn't know about them, but like, definitely my compassion and patience has grown from this work. I don't know if you guys can hear that truck that goes by. Does it get loud?
I hear it.
You do?
I hear
It's
it,
like
but it's not.
robotic, but it's not bad.
It's like
It's not.
the street cleaner truck.
Oh, that's so funny.
I think he just does in front of my house for 5 minutes.
Lucky you.
I'm gonna suggest in my mind he goes on the block, keeps going.
My grandmother died of like scar tissue around her heart when her son passed. And that like makes me feel like, okay, I totally understand what was read, because like that trauma really can.
I'm so sorry
Terminate.
for that. I mean, Lauren.
Oh, thank you. It was a long time ago.
Amanda always says you could literally die from a broken heart. And I totally believe that. Like, my mom also died. My mom died when she was 53. It was almost 10 years to the day that my sister died. And like, my mom had like, it wasn't like an immediate reaction.
Yeah.
She's still like, her heart just failed her. And she literally died from her broken heart. So I do believe that happens.
Me too.
Especially for mothers losing their children. And it doesn't matter if they're young children or older children. Like, my neighbor she's in her 80s and her son just passed away and he was in his 50s, and she's just like devastated over it. It doesn't matter if they're babies or adults or what, it's still your child.
Completely. But I do think that the breath and that yoga, like it's helped my reactions. Like instead of reacting, I like kind of like, okay, and not all the time, like I'm not a perfect human being 100%, but a lot of the time I'm like, oh, I have a choice, like, okay, I can, and it just works. It works so
Yeah,
much better.
100%. I think it allows for that. Like that's why I love the rhythmic breath so much, because we inhale and exhale all day long, but we don't pay attention to that slight pause at the top and the bottom. And the rhythmic breath allows us to hold there for three whatever clicks. And then that's like the reaction. It allows us to just pause and be like, how do I want to react right now? Or is my initial reaction matching how I want to react? And that's what I love watching myself do.
Oh, I love that.
I especially got really good in my 30s and as I was taking teacher training at not responding yes to everything. And also on the flip side of that, not responding no to everything. I trained myself to say, let me get back to you, let me check my planner. Even if it was something I really wanted to do or not wanted to do, because I was in this mode of practicing, being like, let me just pause and see, do I really want to do this? Why am I saying no to things I do want to do? Like figuring out this world of like, what is my real answer? Like, what is the thought behind the answer I'm telling people? And
Right.
that significantly changed. Even now, like Amanda will ask me to sub something and I'll be like, let me check. Like I have to respond immediately because that's just who I am, but it doesn't have to be a yes or no. It can be like, I got to get back to you.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think that was a major change for me, which also then filters into the anxiety and all the other emotions behind it. It's helping me manage all that stuff. Cause then I'm like, oh, I got to get back to Amanda. Like I already did, even though it wasn't the answer. So
Yeah, I'm still working on all of what you just said.
it took a long time to train myself, because I also do not keep my calendar on my phone. I have a written like day planner, so that does
Old
help
school.
where people are like, oh, can you do that? And I'm like, I don't know, I have to go home and I don't carry my planner around with me. I have to go home and check it. And sometimes I'll put the ball back on their court and say, like follow up with me, so that it's not always on my shoulders. Like if it's something they want to do, then they can wait till I get home and be like, oh, did you have a chance to check your planner? I'm just following up. I think that's acceptable too. And learning to say no is important for our health. I make my friends practice with me. I purposely ask them to do things that I don't even want to do just to get them to say no. I'm like, you have to respond no, you have to learn.
I need someone like that. Except I'm a Cancer and I say no to everything. So I guess.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's good.
Yeah, I say no to everything usually.
You say no to things you want to do too?
No, if it's yoga and relaxing, yes, I'll say yes.
Yeah, that's me too. I have so many friends that are like, I haven't seen you in so long. I'm like, look, I'm at the studio. If I'm not on Rev's yoga page, I'm at the studio. So like you can find me. And I'm not pushing yoga on you. I'm just pushing, if you want to see me, that's where I am.
Yeah.
All right, let's do some breath work unless anyone has anything else to share or.
No, it's just really nice to see you all.
Yeah,
and
it
I
was
think
so
about
good to
you.
see you, Domenica. You look so good. It's so professional in the office.
Thanks.
I'm ready for winter.
Have a great day.
You too. All right, so let's sit up nice and tall. Deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. You might just create that even breath in and out, nostril breathing. You might move into your rhythmic breath, breathing in for 3, holding for 3, out for 3, holding for 3. If the anxiety does feel high, My favorite calm down breath is inhaling for 4, exhaling for 8. You can change these counts to suit what works for you. But my anxiety breath is doubling the exhale out. A few rounds of that. And if you want to take a few rounds of your alternate nostril breath, you'll take your right hand to the nose, close the right nostril, inhale through the left, close the left, exhale right, inhale right, close right, exhale left, inhale left, close left, exhale right, inhale right, close right, exhale left, inhale left, close left, exhale right, inhale right, close right, exhale left. And release the palm down. If you're done, if you want to add a few more rounds, and of course that's there for you. And you can settle right into your meditation. I'm setting the timer. If you need to drop early, have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bringing hands to heart center. Namaste. Have a beautiful day, everybody.